got a Trump supporter here. Bang, bang, dead. Not counted as political violence. Any of you want to trust your institutions? We got a Trump supporter here. Bang, bang, dead. Not we got a Trump supporter here. Bang, bang, dead. Not counted as political violence. Any of you want to trust your institutions? We got a Trump supporter here. Bang, bang, dead.
Hello? Is that better? Can everybody hear me now? All right. For some reason, it wasn't broadcast. All right. Thanks everybody for rolling up to Courageous Media. Really appreciate you being here. Now that we have sound, don't know why we didn't before. We had the exact same settings. We just had to, I guess, click on them a few times. But here we are. I wanted to play that clip. That was from Steven Crowder. That was back in the 2020 Summer of Love riots. Just so you know how bad things can get in Portland, where they actually shot a Trump supporter dead in the streets. Was that ever labeled political violence? No. Was anything ever done about it? No, not really. And Donald Trump is bound to determine not to let the same thing happen again. So we are going to dive into this story in Portland, Oregon, where we've got anti-ICE protests and riots that have been going on, frankly, for 4 months. This is nothing new. There have been anti-ICE rioters outside of the federal facilities, the ICE facilities, since June. But things have ramped up in this last spite of political violence, where things have ratcheted up and increased and increased and increased almost geometrically across the nation, that Trump is now forced to take, he's been forced to take action. At the same time that he is sending federal troops to Memphis at the behest of the governor, with the governor's full cooperation in order to tackle crime, Trump at the same time is now basically forced to send federal troops to Portland in a move that mirrors the LA situation a few months ago, where there is no state government support. And Trump is basically saying, I don't care. They're coming anyway. And I have full unilateral authority to do so because federal agents and federal facilities are at risk. Hey, let us know you're here in the comments. Really appreciate you rolling up. Please let us know if you can hear. Thanks so much for being here. Lynn Sanger in the house, Susan Quinn, Justin, really appreciate you being here. Thanks, everybody. So Jeanette Pratt, Lynn Sanger. All right. Thanks so much. All right. Hey, there we go. Awesome. Can hear you now. Fantastic. All right. So let's dive right in. I want you to check out these images from Portland. These have been happening now over the last couple of weeks. And I want you to see how bad it has gotten and why Trump is forced to take action. Like, he has no choice. He has to step in here because the state government of Oregon and the municipal government of Portland will do nothing to stop these. And their citizens are at risk. Check this out. So now check this out, because we got more clips. This is just absolutely amazing that this is allowed to go on in the United States of America, that it's been happening without any state government intervention. Check this out. you've got anti-ICE rioters charging the ICE facility gates, throwing firecrackers, pyrotechnics, such that ICE officers were forced to deploy flashbangs and tear gas just to push them back. And Trump has said, no more. We are done with this nonsense. He's seen this and he's been and now he is acting. Check this out as Trump relays his views directly via video. But before we do that, I want to show the post that he sent out on True Social, and then we'll get into his video. So here we go. At the request of Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland, which is exactly what it is. It looks like a war zone. And any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. Now, here's Trump in his own words.
Yeah, I have. I have. I'm not going to say it now, but yeah, I have. We're going to go into another place and straighten it out. And I will say this: I watched today. I didn't know that was continuing to go on, but Portland is unbelievable. What's going on in Portland? The destruction of the city.
Are you going in?
Well, I'm going to look at it now because I didn't know that was still going on. This has been going on for years. So we'll be able to stop that very easily. We'll be able to stop. But you know, that was not on my list, Portland. But when I watched television last night, this has been going on. You wouldn't be standing if you were the mayor. You would be. Can you imagine?
The mayor should be fired. The governor should be fired. This is absolutely unconscionable. And Lynn Sanger, I'm so glad you commented on that. I'm sorry you got attacked. I'll wait for all the Antifa nutcases to attack me on this channel. Let's see what happens. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much for being here so far. If you could, please, if you stayed through our technical difficulties, please smash that like button for me. Let us know you're here in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn those notifications on so you always know when we drop new content. Really appreciate you being here. Hello, everyone. How many Christians watching this? Well, I'm a Christian. Fantastic. Hey. All right, Bob, whenever they stand, they arrest Antifa should get a mandatory 1 year in jail. Well, I think that's going to start happening. I don't know about the mandatory 1 year. It may even be more than that because they've now been designated a foreign terrorist organization. We're going to check in with that in our last clip of the day because I think that is the most important thing. That's even far more important than Trump sending troops to Portland, which, as you can well imagine, has been met with disdain, not only by officials in Oregon, but also by Chucky Schumer himself. Check this out.
Me and the group of elected leaders and community leaders behind me, we are in the central city of Portland, Oregon, and it is a beautiful day, and we are very happy to be here speaking with you today. In my conversations directly with President Trump and Secretary Noem, I have been abundantly clear with them that Portland and the state of Oregon believe in the rule of law, and we can manage our own local public safety needs. There is no insurrection, there is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city. Military service members should be dedicated to real emergencies. The members of the Oregon National Guard, their mission is to stand up and protect Oregonians, and they will do that every day, but they are not needed in the city. They are not needed here.
I beg to differ. Looking at those images, they are absolutely needed in the city. And although Trump cannot send them there to quell crime, Trump has virtual unilateral authority to send federal troops to protect federal agents and to protect federal facilities, which are what have come under attack by the Portland Antifa group. They have attacked the ICE facilities and they have attacked ICE agents, which opens the door for Donald Trump to essentially do whatever he wants with the Portland National Guard, and he doesn't need your permission to do it. Now, here we go. Let's check out Chucky Schumer as he echoes the nonsense coming out of the Oregon governor.
people of Los Angeles got upset, and the lower court threw it out.
30 seconds. Is there anything you can do to stop it as in Congress?
Yes. First, we will fight it in the courts along with, people who will file suits. But second, I would hope, Kristen, that some of our Republican colleagues, I know they're loyal to Trump and does whatever he wants, but this is so far stepping over the line that I'd hope some of them would join us in legislation to prevent it from happening. We have such a proposal. I'm part of it.
Yeah, no one's going to join you, Chucky Schumer. First of all, you have no power left. You're a paper tiger. You're about to get beat by AOC for your Senate seat, which is how bad it is. And second, Trump proved, and the courts vindicated Trump in LA when he is sending troops to protect ICE agents and federal facilities. The governor has no say. They all sued Trump. They even got a lower court, black robe tyrannical, a lower court inferior judge to say, no, Trump can't do this. And it was immediately overturned at the appellate level and the Supreme Court level, saying, no, Trump is using the National Guard to protect federal facilities. The state governor cannot enjoin him not to do it. They cannot resist. They cannot block. So Trump can federalize the Oregon National Guard, and he's already done so, and he is sending those troops to Portland. That's extremely important to see this quelled. But what's even more important is what's happening behind the scenes. Check this out from Stephen Miller. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. This was Trump signing the executive order declaring Antifa a foreign terrorist organization, because this, I think, is the most important thing that the Trump administration can do in order to battle Antifa and others. Muslim Brotherhood needs to be added to this list, as well as probably 5 other organizations right off the top of my head. Check this out.
Steve, could you say a couple of words?
Yes, Mr. President. This is a very historic and significant day. This is the first time in American history that there is an all-of-government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism, to dismantle Antifa, to dismantle the organizations that have been carrying out these acts of political violence and terrorism. What we have seen, if you look at whether it be going back to the riots that started with Black Lives Matter and all the way through to the Antifa riots, the attacks on ICE officers, the doxing campaigns, and now the political assassinations, these are not lone, isolated events. This is part of an organized campaign of radical left terrorism. It is structured, it is sophisticated, it is well funded, it is well planned. There is really no parallel like this to anything else in the country right now. There is an entire system of feeder organizations that provide money, resources, weapons, and when they're attacking ICE officers, they're attacking federal buildings, or they're isolating public officials for harassment, doxing, intimidation, and ultimately attempted assassination. It is all carefully planned, executed, and thought through. It is terrorism on our soil. Because of this executive order, Cash and Pam are going to have the tools they need, working with Scott, to take these organizations apart piece by piece. And the central hub of that effort is going to be the Joint Terrorism Task Force, or JTTF, which sits inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But for those at home who are worried about terrorism in this country, they need to understand, because of President Trump's strength, because of his vision, because of his leadership, we are now going to use the entire force of the federal government to uproot these organizations root and branch. And again, that's only possible because of President Trump and his leadership.
That is the most important thing. That is what I love to hear, because we can send federal troops all day, every day to every American citizen city, and we can arrest these ICE nimnods. But you're still subject, unless you charge them with federal crimes, which in some cases you could, you are still subject to local jurisdictions, local DAs, local judges, local juries, local arrest warrants, and most of these people will be out of prison before you know it. They probably won't even be held in night, some of them. Now, for everybody that you can charge with federal crimes, put them in front of a federal judge, incarcerate them in federal holding cells, that's a great step. But even more important than all of that is Trump allowing and empowering the FBI, the DOJ, Homeland Security to absolutely dismantle these organizations from the ground up. I want to see arrests of people like George Soros, Alex Soros, his son, everybody who has participated in funding Antifa, in funding Muslim Brotherhood, in funding Tren de Agua, in funding MS-13. Find every single dollar that we can that has gone to these organizations. If it flowed through USAID, if it flowed through an NGO, whatever organization it flowed through, if that organization exists on US soil, arrest all of the participants and drag them in front of court, defund them, because they've been declared a terrorist organization, freeze instantly all their assets. I think Trump should move right now to freeze all of George Soros's assets around the world. Let me know what you think on that one in the comments. Really appreciate everybody rolling up, because I think that is what needs to happen. If we dismantle these organizations from the ground up, most of them are funded by and funding Democrat causes, Democrat politicians, Democrat NGOs. The money is a gigantic circle jerk. Now, Trump has done, and the Trump administration have gone a long way in defunding USAID, in defunding the U.S. Institute for Peace, in starting to pull the pork and the nonsense out of the Department of Education, the DOD, and all the above. The USAID was itself a $50 billion a year left-wing funding organization. That is now over. That is now done. But now I want to see it taken a step further. Let's use this executive order to absolutely dismantle every single left-wing terrorist organization, freeze all of their assets, arrest anyone that they can prove funneled money to a terrorist group. So if you gave a donation to Antifa, you should be investigated right off the bat. If Act Blue gave money to Antifa, Act Blue should be shut down immediately. If George Soros, which we know he has funded Antifa and these riots, him and his organization, anybody who participated, needs to be indicted and prosecuted. Let me know what you think. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. That, I think, is the most important segment in this whole thing. But I wanted to show you what has led up to that and why we are at the place we were at. But I think we're making progress. Winning in all caps. Absolutely, Peter, first name, 100%. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And also, if you like the content, share Courageous Media with everybody that you know, and consider joining us as a member on YouTube of the Courageous Army. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, God is good and he is sovereign. Until I catch you next time.